Always the aim for me is making people feel like they are not alone. That's just the greatest feeling. Nothing is more powerful than allowing yourself to truly be affected by things. Whether it's a song, a stranger, a mountain, a tea kettle, an article, a sentence, a footstep, feel it all. Look around you. All of this is for you. Take it and have gratitude. Give it and feel love. Don't allow the coldness and fear of others to tarnish your perfectly vulnerable beating heart. A lot of people work out to be skinny. That's so boring, and it seems like a depressing goal for a modern woman. Humor is a part of spirituality. I remember having this friend in school who said she didn't like the Beach Boys. And in that moment, I knew we couldn't be friends anymore. It's never too late for a coffee. After all, it's morning somewhere in the world. I am always early to work, but sometimes late to other things. Everyone has the heartbreak that shapes them in a way that they could never go back to the innocence that they had before. That is so personal, and it's my pet peeve when people press you on it. And it's always women who get asked. Is anybody saying that to George Clooney? Writing music is really personal, and it's a really exciting thing to participate in because it represents the full creative process. It feels like something is coming from nothing. Oh, me? I'm not 80% water. I'm 80% coffee and a little bit of sass. I need a coffee to go with my coffee. You don't have to wear expensive clothes to look good. I'm just being myself. There is not an ounce of me that believes any of that crap that they say. We can't be feminine and be feminists and be successful. I want to be a F King feminist and wear a F King Peter Pan collar. So F King what? What led me to be an actor is that I have a strange something in me that can drastically change the way I appear to the world. Growing up, I couldn't understand why people would always have different ideas of me, but because of that I became aware of how you can manipulate your own ability to change. And then I learned to make a career of it. I like having a schedule. I tend to be the type of person that thrives on something being regular. Girls get competitive, as though there's only one spot in the world for everything, but that's not true. We need to stick together and see there's more to life than pleasing men. It's important not to cut yourself off from female friendships. I think sometimes girls get scared of other girls, but you need each other. I just like music that sounds like music. Not like machines and computers and things that you design to make things sound slick and perfect. I think every year I become happier because I become more confident and more comfortable in my own skin. When I was 13, I wasn't the coolest kid in my class, and that inner dork is a wonderful thing to have. The internet's like one big bathroom wall with a lot of people who anonymously can say really mean things. It's fine. I believe in freedom of speech, and I think people should think what they want, but I don't care to hear it. I think my knowledge of music theory is rooted in jazz theory, and a lot of the writers of standards, Rodgers and Hart and Gershwin. I like a lot of old films, I like a lot of old music, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I like the idea of knowing what happens before, so that I can understand it. I'm not doing it to pander to people. I just always knew what I liked versus what I don't like. I never liked things with too many zippers or spikes and stuff. That weirds me out. I like things that are pretty. And I think it's great to be pretty. I like being feminine. I think it's good to be feminine. We don't need to look like men or dress like men or talk like men to be powerful. We can be powerful in our own way, our own feminine way. My sister and I do what we love to do and do what we want to do, so that sort of started us off having a sense of do this because you love it, not do this because you want to be famous. I'm a person who gets better with practice. Getting older is awesome because you get more practice. If people just want to be famous, that's just not enough to get you up at 4 in the morning to go to work. You have to love what you're doing. I think it's better to have your personal life and your work life separate. That way they don't corrupt each other, so to speak. There's nothing like having a great friends. When you see them, you get that joy that you can't really compare it with anything else. In a lot of movies, you'll see people on crazy dates, and you're like, no one would ever do that. I'm not cynical about love at all. I'm very practical. I think love takes up a lot of time. I love singing Christmas carols. I know every harmony to every music hall Christmas song. Summer has always been my favorite season. I feel happier. Do your eyeshadow first, then your foundation. That way, you can clean up any mess without starting all over again. Blossoming and unfolding are basically the same thing, but blossoming is more romantic. I think that it's our responsibility to create a world in which girls can grow up and not have to limit their dreams or possibilities. You can't expect to make no effort. You still have to make the effort and be kind and understanding. I put myself out there, it's part of my job, and I get it, people will attack me. At first I was thrown off, but now I have a pretty thick skin about it. Certain aspects of my personality are always going to come out on screen. I guess that's just me. If they say I'm quirky, I'm quirky. It's better than being boring. True love that lasts forever. Yes, I do believe in it. My parents have been married for 40 years, and my grandparents were married for 70 years. I come from a long line of true loves. I don't like plain nails. I get sad. I think my own personal style always ends up seeping into characters that I play. I've always had a very distinct idea of fashion for myself and what a character should wear. For those of you who tried, but didn't make it, settle down, it's never what you think. The summit doesn't differ from the deep, dark valley, and the valley doesn't differ from the kitchen sink. It's strange because a lot of people are like, you can't change human nature, people are inherently negative. I don't think that's true. If you expect the best from people, they'll step up. I feel like songwriting is an experiment in empathy. I always wanted to be normal. I tried really hard, but it's like I try so hard and then people still say I'm offbeat. I've learned to accept that and take advantage of it as an actor. I'll write and make chords with my voice sometimes if I don't have an instrument, even though it takes a million times longer. One of the things I love about doing things that are creative is that I feel like it's my right as an artist not to be affected by the reactions of those people that are going to hear my songs. I've always had a really great time being in movies and writing music when I get home. The more creative I am, the more it feeds into other creative aspects of my life. It's an addiction. I love clothes. I like to go down Melrose and look in all the windows, and I go to different flea markets. I have lots of costumes. You never know when you're going to have to dress up like a milkmaid from the 1600s. I just sort of follow my bliss, so to speak, and then I see where that takes me. Every show is unique. Some shows have the master plan and have everything figured out, and that's just the way they do things. It's like high school. Some people write their papers the second they get their assignments, and some people write it the day after it's due. I mean, the idea that it might help somebody out or help somebody make the decision to become a stewardess or otherwise. No, that's one of the nice things about making music or making movies, is that art does have the power to affect people. I feel really privileged to be a part of that. I accidentally entered a youth pageant when I was 14. That's like a beauty pageant, but without the beauty. It was terrible. I think the best comedic actors don't play it for comedy, they play it for reality. Then you find it funny because it's real. Playing the genre is the worst thing you can do, it's embarrassing. In an ideal world, no one would talk before 10 a.m. People would just hug, because waking up is really hard. I feel like I can't fully understand what's happening now until I really understand what's happened before. But you do get sort of bogged down a little bit when you're trying to study so many years worth of music. It can be a little bit overwhelming. I don't think I'm very much like anyone else, really. I'm sure there are aspects of other actors that I share, but I don't see anybody else and go, damn, they stole my thing. I'm me, and I like that there are people who have an appreciation for that. And you go into a supermarket and every tabloid is like, pregnant and alone. Stuck in the 1950s ideal of how a woman should live her life. This brings out the fiery feminist in me. It's interesting, because as a musician, I don't feel like I need to be on the top of the pop charts. In my mind, I always think of myself as an underdog type. I think I'd say that my whole body of work is a reflection of who I am, but not any one specific thing. Nothing could be as hard as middle school. I started out doing musicals. I think penguins are cute. I really like the collaboration of doing movies and television. But I like the sort of solitary work of doing music. I love to cook. But I have some food allergies, so I have to contend with those. If I could give my teenage self any advice, it would be calm down. I like romantic comedy as a genre, but I think it can get stuck in its ways. From my perspective, probably women are won over by people who are sweet and respectful and courteous and kind and funny. I think those are the things that win women over. I have Pro Tools on my computer, and I make CDs all the time. My biggest complaint with tights is that they do not accommodate skinny-ankled people like myself. I will wear tights even if it's 100 degrees outside. Tights are my safety blanket. It's nice that there are movies and songs about romance. It's what motivates us as human beings. I'm all for being brainwashed by rom-coms. I'm wary about this thing about being in the generation of social networking where people are like, I am my musical taste. I am not just a collection of music. Or a collection of movies. I think that's a thing that people romanticize. Oh my God, she likes this band, so she is a dream. I think the best comedies came out during the Depression. Personally, I was doing about 5 movies a year for many years. I was just so tired. I walked around feeling like a Mack truck hit me. I'm always doing something musically when I'm working or when I'm off. I want to be where your heart is home. I want to see you with the light in the morning. There's never been such a beautiful warning to me. To me, I think comedy's just about being interested in comedy and what makes people laugh and experimenting. One of the privileges of doing television is the ability to evaluate my own performance and try to improve upon it. I love indie movies. I think that independent cinema is where it's at and where a lot of trends begin. It's where new filmmakers are breaking through. I have trouble actually describing myself because I'm always suspicious of people who start describing themselves. I'm like, okay, why are you trying to tell me what you are? I love to play music, and this is fun, and let's record this stuff in a way that we both like. That was exciting enough, so we just recorded it. There was no business in it until the very last minute, really. It was really as much of an extension of me writing the songs in my bedroom as it could possibly be. My sister was always very motherly, babysitting and stuff. I've always straddled the weird line. There's a lot of mainstream stuff that I love. At the same, I still feel like an outsider. I'm the outsider who's on the inside. I still have in me the same awareness when I was 12 and chubby and a girl was spitting in my face. I'm the same person. I'm a person who has a lot of energy. So, yes, I don't really stop to rest or de-stress. I just keep going. I figure that if you don't stop, then you'll never notice how tired you are. That's one of the most exciting things for me about listening to records. It's a moment in time, and the less it's messed with, the more powerful it is. I wanted at least one song on the record to be just completely about the moment. I try to be authentic, but at the same time I don't really want people prying into my personal life. I'd be more likely to go for somebody who is like me. Well, I like creative people, so whatever that means. Yeah, authentic and creative. I like to learn things slow. I like learning a lot. I like to get it all again, and in the end, you know you get what you got. I grew up believing my sister was from the planet Neptune and had been sent down to Earth to kill me. I went to Northwestern because I had gone to a really non-traditional high school. I was like, it'd be cool to have a traditional college experience. Then I was like, oh, but none of these people understand what's cool about me. My specialness is not appreciated in this place. I'm a romantic, but I'm not a romantic in the traditional sense. I like to romanticize what happens to me. Whatever happens to me, you could quantify it as good or bad. I romanticize it. I think along the lines of when that thing happened, it made me who I am. That kind of thing. It's a different way of being romantic. When I was a little bit younger, the strain I was under could make me cry. Now I'm a little bit older, a little bit bolder, never so shy you can't know if someone's really your best friend. I think the measure of that is you could not see each other for 6 months, and then when you see each other you laugh the same way you did when you were a little kid. The moment you sense someone is making something because they think people are gonna buy it or like it, it's just so phony.